Good YouTube, brother Derek here with another video. Hope everybody is doing well. And for all y'all that are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Derek Alford. Me and my wife been doing real estate for the past 8 years. We use that to escape the rat race, and we've been out ever since. And what we do is we do buy and hold real estate. We buy property, we fix it up, rent it out, and rinse and repeat. We've done Airbnb a couple times. We never did a flip because we believe in buying and holding, so we don't believe in holding for the short term and just flipping. So that's what we do. But in this video, I wanted to give you guys some information on how to find properties off market at a lower price because right now the market is kind of high, especially in most cities, and our city is still pretty high. You can still find some deals, but you'll find better deals if you take this method that I'm going to show you guys shortly. But yeah, and this is something that I recommend you do in your city. I'm not 100% sure if all cities have this program. I just know that my city has it, and I know local cities around me have it because I've seen it. And what this process, one of the processes is buying property through the land bank. A land bank, at least in our city, is a city funded program. And what they do is they acquire properties, at auctions or just through certain processes that local investors might not be able to acquire property through. And then they basically resell the property to investors that show that they have one, the income, two, the experience to fix up the property, and that three, that they don't already own property in the city that that is delinquent or not taken care of. So I recommend you guys look into that because that is the best way. Well, I'm not gonna say the best way, I'm sorry. That's a very good way and an easy way to find property without going through, bidding through, all these people on the MLS, on Zillow. You don't have to deal with so many people because not everybody knows about the land bank. So let me turn my heater off. So share my screen. Hopefully you guys can see this. So yeah, so this is what I would recommend you guys do. Go on Google, and I live in Rochester, New York. So go to the land bank, type in your local city, whether Rochester, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Buffalo, New York, wherever you live, type in land bank, see what comes up. In my city, this is what comes up. And like I said, the mission of the Monroe County Land Bank is to acquire and return vacant, abandoned, and tax delinquent properties within Monroe County. So we actually have two land banks. We have the Rochester Land Bank and the Monroe County Land Bank. I only dealt with the Rochester Land Bank, but it just goes to show you that just Google, this and see what comes up for you in your city. So and the purpose of this Rochester Land Bank is very similar to acquire, hold, and dispose of real estate that is vacant, abandoned, and unutilized, and return those to, owners that will keep up with the property and, do well to develop it, et cetera, et cetera. So here we are on the land bank in my city, Rochester, New York. And I was actually able to acquire one property through this. So that's why I'm telling you guys about this program because it worked for me. I'll show you guys that property in a second. But in our city, we have the tax auction or uh, delinquent tax auction. I'm not exactly sure the exact name of it, but we do it every year. I think it's in the fall, and you have a good amount of investors come out there. But there was always a company that was using something called the Trump bid. So before even us investors could have bid on, so let me start this whole thing over. So every year, like I said in the fall, there's the tax auction, and they send out a big list of all the properties that'll be on the list. And within this list, there's no guarantee that all the houses on the list will make it to the actual auction block, but you at least get to see what you have the possibility of acquiring on that auction day. So you look at that list, we will look at that list, look at all the houses, look at the areas of the houses that we like, and we'll highlight them, bam, bam. And then, hopefully those houses make it to the auction list. Of course, we don't want nobody to lose their house, but that's the nature of the business. And sometimes we even drive by these houses, and then I think the list would even show you like what's old on the taxes and blah, blah, blah. And I think you have to just pay those taxes off and you can acquire the house. There might be some fees on top of that, but either way, you get that list, do your due diligence, go to the auction day, and hopefully you get something. So we noticed that on that day of the auction, there was a company called the Land Bank, and before we even us investors had even an opportunity to, you know, bid for a property, they were just using something called the Trump bid, and the Land Bank, the person on the stage would be like, "All right, so the Land Bank is going to acquire ABC Street, 123 Street." 90 East Main Street, and me and my wife be looking like, who is the land bank? Why are they able to acquire all these houses before we were even able to even, you know, bid for them? They automatically got the houses. Like they were the first on the list, and after they took, sometimes they took, I will even say most of the time, they took a lot of the best properties that were on our list, and then we were left with the scraps, us investors that were there to bid. So me and my wife did some research and we're like, who are the land bank and what do they do? So we did some research and it took us to here. And like I told you guys, their goal is to acquire, hold, dispose of real estate that is a property that is vacant, abandoned, or unutilized for purpose, return those properties to productive use. So in your city, just like mine, I'm sure you have a lot of properties that are vacant, or you have a lot of properties that are run down, that are not being taken care of, high grass, and the owners or LLCs, businesses, whoever owns them, aren't taking care of them for whatever reason. Maybe they got bad tenants in them, or they just lost the capital. They were supposed to fix them up, didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the reason, companies like these, the land bank, come and acquire the house, acquire the properties, and then they resell them to the investors, you know, along if the investors meet certain criteria. And that allows you to get a property, a nice house. Usually, sometimes these aren't in the best areas. So also make sure that when you're looking at these houses that they are in areas that you feel comfortable buying in. There's I will say there are times where you aren't able to see the house, the inside. So there was a couple situations where me and my wife were able to get houses, but we weren't able to see them, so we turned houses down. In hindsight, I wish we would have got those houses, but as new investors, I wouldn't really recommend you do that because sometimes you don't know what you're getting into and you might not have the skill, manpower, resources to fix those houses up. And RCD Land Bank only gives you a year to fix up a house. So if you don't have the capital, you don't think you'll have it in a year, you'll definitely put yourself in a bad situation with the land bank and they may not allow you to partner with them in the future. So that's something I want you guys to think about. But this is how our land bank website is, and you can kind of see, we'll look at some of the properties they have for sale. They do like meetings and such, and they have reports and stuff like that. So, unless you see the board of directors, everybody that's a part of the land bank, they even have a Q&A, I mean, a facts, FAQ, um, like what is the land bank? I'll let you guys look at that. How do I know what properties? I just want you to go to their page. But that's just a little information about the land bank. So let's look at what houses they currently have for sale. So right now, the sale is pending, but this is a house on Sterling Street. I don't think it's the best area, but for 40,000, it's not bad. It is a one bedroom, one bathroom, so I don't like that. I've never really seen a house like that before, but um it's opportunity and everything. And there's a house size for everybody. And another house, Roycroft. Now, Roycroft is a rough street. I wouldn't buy over there, but for 15,000, if you could flip it, so and this is what you'll be dealing with in some cases. Houses sometimes are boarded up. This house is sided. Looks like it needs a roof, but it's a four bedroom, two bathroom, 14 square feet. So for the right situation, for the right person, this might be a good move. You can flip it. Maybe you can sell it for like 60 to 80. And I don't know exactly all of Roycross, so there might be a good pocket where this might be a good sell for, uh, a owner that one that lives in it, and this might not be, or it could be for a rental. I don't know, but there's opportunities. But some of the rules is like properties purchased through land bank. You must obtain a C of O prior to resale or rental. So you have to, a C of O in our city means it has to be livable, has to be inspected by an inspector. They have to make sure that they deem the house livable. So it has to, all plumbing, electrical, everything has to be in working order. It has to pass several, criterias, but it's a good thing because they're making sure that the house is in, good working order. You just can't do blah, 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 and just put it out there and let somebody run it out. They have to check it. So these are all good measures. But right now, these are the only two houses. But I've seen this website have several houses, in several different areas. But I show you guys it to show you that I want you guys to look at alternative ways to get property because unfortunately, it's getting more competitive. As you guys know, if you're looking in real estate or are in real estate, it's a competitive market for good reason because you're buying something of value that will grow in value that you can sell, refinance, rent, and you can do that. And also, it's just a profitable business model because everybody needs somewhere to live. Like it's not going to never stop. There's not going to be less people in the world as far as it's going to need places to live. It's just going to always be increasing. So you always have more people looking to live somewhere. So house prices are going to go up and rents are going to go up, but also competition is going up to get these houses. But you guys need to come up with different ways and find out different ways of how to get property so that you're just not stuck in, looking on Zillow and stuff like that. Go to auction.com, look at your land bank, drive for dollars, which is driving for dollars is when you go get in your car and you just drive around different areas of the city and look for houses that are distressed that need, that the grass is real high, that it may look like a house like this, maybe boarded up or it may just look really rough. And then you contact the owner. You can find their information online. You can get the Deal Machine app. I've done that before, and you can find their information, send them a postcard, and be like, "Hey, my name is Derek. I'm a real estate investor. I see your house, 169 Roycroft. You know, looks like it's vacant. Are you interested in selling?" You never know what happens. Those are, ways that you can find deals. We found deals, just word of mouth. We have a rental, a duplex, and the house next door. The tenants were moving out, and we knew them because we lived in the area, and we used to live in the duplex itself. So we're like, "Hey, yo, Ken, I see that you moving out. What's going on?" And like, "Yeah, my cousin wants to sell the house," and we're like, "Who's your cousin? Where they at?" So we got the information, asked them about the house, and we were able to get it. So word of mouth is big. So don't be scared to ask people. Don't be scared to be a little nosy. Ask questions. And it's a lot of times it's just being at the right time, right place at the right time. But I really, really like the land bank. So it's a good program. Definitely requires you to have some skill as far as from a contracting standpoint. You need to have people that can do some work. You don't necessarily need to be doing work yourself. It will help because it'll save you some money, but you just need to have a team because these houses usually are in some type of distress, which is why they're in a land bank because the owner wasn't taking care of them and they weren't paying taxes for whatever reason. And not all houses will need a whole bunch of work, and you might even find one that needs little to nothing, but it will be good just to have. If you're going to look at this process, at this business model of getting property to the land bank, I recommend you at least have some contractors on your team that know what they're doing. So let's keep going. So this is the property that I got through the land bank. So this is my property. I bought this house back in 2020 or maybe 21. Uh, excuse me, y'all. Kind of early, right, y'all? So my bad. I want to get this content out because it's been on my mind. But I bought this house a little bit before COVID hit, and I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I didn't have that much cash on me because I had purchased a duplex prior. So what I did was I pulled money out of my job, had a retirement account, and I'm just like, I was earning like maybe 7%, 5% off the money. And I'm like, I could take that money and, you know, I see opportunity to get some real estate. I'm like, I know this house would be worth way more. I bought this house for 36,000 and I used the money from my retirement to buy it. And now, as you guys see, it's worth 95. I actually think it's worth at least 120. I don't think this estimate is that accurate because it's based on what the house is sold for in the area. And I've done, this is not what the house looked like when I acquired it. I've put new windows in it recently. It has a new furnace, hot water tank. I'm gonna get the panel upgraded. I'm gonna get some new doors, front and side, but it's the only thing. This house is pretty much like brand new, so I personally believe it's worth more. But even if it's worth 95, I bought it for 36, so it pretty much almost tripled its value in over like what 4 years. So like I told you, I like just be creative. Sometimes you got to take some risks, but if you take the right risk, it'll pay off. But no risk, no reward. But when I bought this house, it did not look like this. The outside look like this. Is not the prettiest house, but this has been one of my best rentals, best performing rentals. This house has been occupied since I bought it. I put a Section 8 tenant in there, and she pays 1,500 every month. And she's a good tenant. Like she is great. She pays on time, has some kids. She takes care of the house. She's very neat, clean. Um, she's very good about letting me know any issues going on. And one thing I love about my tenants is that, when I find out about grant programs, which I'm still doing the video, I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do a video on grants and how do you get free money to fix up your properties. Is that, they always are able to give us like, I'm like, hey, I need you, could you give me your W-2 or can you give me your Section 8 reward letter? I can get those documents and take those to the grants departments or wherever I need to get approved for grants for, like I said, new windows, new doors. We got a house sided. We're getting a house sided right now through a grant program. So I promise you guys, I'll do a video on how to get free money to fix up your property. But that's a key thing about with tenants is make sure you have a tenant that is, good about getting you information like that because, you know, those opportunities don't last forever. Grant money comes and goes. So if you have a tenant that's good about getting that information, hang on to them. And one thing I recommend you do too is um I haven't really had to do it, but I had a friend of mine tell me he did it, is that let's say you have a grant coming up and you need, your tenant's information, offer them some money like, hey, uh, James or Dewana, if you give me, I need your tax returns for last year. You give me that, I'll give you $100 off the rent, or I'll give you a gift card. Something I do is I give gift cards after the fact, but I don't use that as a bargaining tool because usually my tenants don't. I'm usually able to get the information right away, but let's say your tenant, can be a little delayed with things, and of course it's not going to be their priority to give you something even though like it'll help them, sometimes I notice that they're not that quick to give you that information. Of course, like I told you guys, I never really had an issue, but I explained to them like, hey, yes, I help you save money on your RG&E bill. They don't really care as much as you would think they would, but I would just say if they're really slowing things down, offer some money, some kind of incentive, like, hey, you give me this, I'll give you that. Because at the end, even if you get them $100 off the rent, whatever you're getting done, I'm sure is worth 10 times that in the long run. So something to think about. But yeah, so when I got this house back in 2021, it needed a good amount of work. The kitchen did not look like this. At least the floor was like, I can't even remember. I think it was linoleum. Hopefully I said that right. So we ripped all that up and we put, click floor down. I kept the cabinets the same. Uh, put new lights up. Changed. These are actually real wood cabinets, so I left these cabinets. I know they're kind of like old school, but I kind of wanted to keep the natural wood look to the house. I thought it was really unique. I always get black appliances. I got the stainless steel in there. Update the light fixtures. I always go with the gray paint, white trim. It always sets the house off right. Had a downstairs bathroom, so upgraded that stuff. And I love this click floor. This is home decorations click floor. I always get that from Home Depot. And I always update the light switches, outlets. Just get even if they work, just put brand new ones, give them a clean look. It'll just make everything look so nice. So something that I always try to do. And yeah, so like I said, y'all bought this house for 36,000. Definitely put some money into it. I think I put maybe 15 in it, maybe 20. I did it all the electrical myself, but I don't recommend you guys do that unless you know, have those skills. You don't have to do that. But I'm an electrician by trade, so it makes sense for me to do my own electrical and I do my own painting, you know, or at least at this stage. I'm definitely delegating a lot more now. Like I don't do the painting anymore, but I don't mind doing that stuff. It actually is good to do sometimes because I can be hands-on and I like to kind of it's almost like birthing a baby in a sense. It's like I'm watching it develop. It's definitely hard and it's you put a lot of work in at first and you don't really see much changing, but after time you start looking at it and be like, this is starting to look like something. Like it's an experience that I think you guys will enjoy once you guys get into real estate is just watching your house transform into something that you into your vision that you have for it. So yeah, so definitely wanted to give it some uniqueness with that. And yeah, I just kept it real standard. Like got these lights from Walmart, did some wire molding, and like I said, all the new I got new windows for free through a grant program. So all the windows are new. And yeah, this thing's been rented ever since I put it on the market. She's been in there for at least what 4 years. Great tenant. So yeah, so that is the property. So stop, stop that share. So that's pretty much it, y'all. That's the property that I got from the land bank. Definitely look at the land bank in your local city, see what they have. Drive for dollars. That's something you can do. Like I said, just get the Deal Machine app. Let me pull that up for you guys, just so you can. This is Deal Machine. It's a little pricey, but it's a good product. Pricing is I would recommend $100 a month. And like I said, it allows you to get their contact information, phone numbers, email addresses, and it's just this is a way that you guys can get you know, get people that may be looking to sell their houses. Like if you see a house on your street that looks vacant or you know it's vacant and you don't know who the owner is, you can get Deal Machine. It'll help you get their information, send them mail, you get their phone number. So, you know, I told you guys about the land bank, I told you guys about Deal Machine, I told you guys about word of mouth. So I just point this up to you. So what's your plan? You guys let me know in the comments below. You know, what's your plan? How are you going to acquire your next property or your first property? You guys see yourself doing any of these methods? I hope this video helps you guys. Just comment and like, share. I hope this video give you guys information, hope this motivates you, inspires you. For you guys that are first getting started in real estate, I know it might be scary. You might not know what you're doing. You don't know how to get started. So if you guys want to work with me, you guys can book me for some coaching, or you guys can check out our program, you know, Real Freedom Through realestate.com. We guys show you how to buy your first property, how to find quality tenants, how to collect rent. We were able to collect rent from Africa when we went out the country. So wherever we go, as long as we got our real estate, we're getting paid, and we want to show you guys how to do it too. So I hope this video helps you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So I love you. I'm out. Peace.